Hey guys, my name is Zach, and today on Fitness Fabrication, we're going to go over weightlifting diets for beginners and why bulking probably isn't the right plan for you to achieve your ideal physique. To start things out, if your ideal physique isn't a whale, bulking's probably not going to work for you. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, there are two different kinds of bulk that I want to talk about. There's clean bulk, dirty bulk, and a calorie surplus. I want to go over these three things with you. A calorie surplus is any amount of calories that's over the amount that your body needs to maintain its weight. When I talk about a severe calorie surplus, I'm referring to the consumption of a significant amount of calories. For example, let's use 2,000 calories over maintenance. When I refer to maintenance, I'm referring to the amount of calories that your body needs to basically maintain its weight. Moving on to dirty versus clean bulking. Dirty bulking is basically consuming a high amount of calories via unhealthy meals with lots of fat and sugars and all sorts of things. The reason I think this is definitely not the way to go is because, let's remember, the whole point of going to the gym and weightlifting is to achieve a better physique, right? It certainly isn't to gain a large amount of body fat that you're going to have to burn off and make your journey that much more difficult. Clean bulking is one way of eating that I go over a little bit later on, and my experience with it and why I don't really feel it's that effective. After experimenting with this way of eating, I ended up discovering the theory of calories in, calories out. Even if you're consuming healthy foods, you're still eating at a very high caloric surplus that your body's just not going to be able to burn off. The consequences of this are ultimately going to lead to fat gain in a very uncomfortable way of feeling because you're overeating so much. This, of course, is considering that you're consuming 2,000 extra calories over your maintenance. With all this being said, I'm not saying that eating at a surplus is a bad thing. Of course, eating at a surplus where your body can actually use those calories and they're not going to turn into fat, it's actually going to be turned into something that you want, lean muscle mass. Chances are, if you're the average guy or girl, you're not going to go to the gym 7 days a week for 6 hours a day and run marathons every day. So 2,000 calories over your maintenance calories is a little much. The general rule of thumb is a 600 calorie surplus, but this varies from person to person. I prefer to stick to a diet where I maintain my body fat percentage. This calorie surplus of 600 may or may not maintain my body weight. Of course, like I said, it changes from person to person. It's not always going to be the same, and some experimentation is going to be required. Now we're going to go over calorie deficits. A calorie deficit is basically a low enough amount of calories where your body will burn fat instead of burning the calories that you put into your body. The best thing about being on a calorie deficit before you start this whole process is it will give you an idea of how many calories you need to lose weight. This in turn is going to make your journey a lot easier and help you figure out how many calories you need to maintain your weight or build muscle. Another good reason for leaning out first that I experienced firsthand is the amount of weight that you can lift will, without a doubt, end up going down as you lose that little bit of muscle that goes with the body fat when you try to lean out. This is a real blow to the ego and discouraging, but it's better to get this over with in the beginning than later on. You don't want to go through all this energy hitting weightlifting goals and other things like that just to have them stripped away from you. It just doesn't make you feel good. So wrapping this part up, if you do start to lean out while you're weightlifting, as soon as you start going on a maintain or a surplus, that's when you're really going to see the difference in your weightlifting as your body has that fuel to grow. If there's anything to remember out of this whole video, it's that you don't have to take on fat to gain muscle, but you certainly do have to lose at least a little muscle if you want to burn that fat. That is why, in my opinion, it really doesn't make sense to bulk, and it's really not an effective way to do things, at least for the average person. Let's move on and figure out how many calories you need to consume to lose weight and lean out. This can be done in a few different ways, but in this example, we're going to be using MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is a great free way to figure out how many calories you need to either maintain weight, lose weight, or build muscle. You can track your food intake by either scanning barcodes or entering this information into the app itself. There's a whole directory with all kinds of foods that you can choose from, and it's easy enough to get set up. I would like to note that personally I count macros, which includes proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. You don't need to count macros. I do personally because I feel like it makes it easier for me to plan out my meals. But starting out with counting calories is just fine. As I said before, calories in, calories out. Remember, no application or calculator is going to know exactly how many calories you need to consume. So there's definitely going to be some experimentation with this whole process. If you are losing weight and trying to maintain muscle, I wouldn't recommend losing any more than 1 to 2 pounds in a week. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to MyFitnessPal. Go ahead and download MyFitnessPal from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Once the app is downloaded, go ahead and tap Open. Once you tap Open, go to Sign Up. In my case, I used Facebook to sign in, but you can always create a regular account as well. For this example, we'll be using the Lose Weight option. Click Next to go to the next page, and then you'll choose the activity level that sounds like it suits you best. We'll choose Male. Enter your birthday so you can receive an accurate calorie estimate. Enter your country and zip code. Click Next, and enter your height and weight. Click Next. Enter your goal and how many pounds you want to lose per week. Again, I recommend 1 to 2 pounds. Click Next. Create a password for yourself and create a username. Click Sign Up, and it will give you the amount of calories you should be consuming daily to reach your goal. 1,000 to 1,200 is the minimum amount of calories that MyFitnessPal recommends you intake in a day. Remember to adjust your calorie levels at the end of the week after figuring out how many pounds that you lost. That way you can continue on the path of your goal and know that you're getting results. I highly recommend that on weigh-in day, you weigh yourself around the same time and eat just about the same things. This is due to the change in weight based on water and food intake throughout the day. As you go on throughout the day, you will eat and drink more, causing your weight to go up. It doesn't matter what time you weigh yourself, it just matters that it's consistent, because as I said, as you consume water and food, your weight is going to fluctuate up and down as you go on throughout your day. Once you've reached your goal body fat percentage, you're going to want to go back into MyFitnessPal and change your goal, whether it be maintain or build muscle. I prefer a diet where I can maintain my body mass and my fat percentage level and also gain muscle at the same time. I really don't want to have to deal with leaning out, as I explained in the beginning of this video. Again, it will take some experimentation to get the right calorie intake for you, and the numbers that the app provide are just estimates. But now that you've leaned out first, you should be pretty familiar with how many calories you need to lose weight, which means you shouldn't need to add too many to either maintain your weight or go on a small calorie surplus. That'll wrap it up for today's video, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more. Make sure you ring that bell so you know when I release a new video. See you next time.